Hello friends, I am Sandeep Dixit. This morning once again the Prime Minister came out with his Mann Ki Baat and this is my response in Kaam Ki Baat. Let me start by congratulating the Prime Minister for his rather wonderful victories in Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand and the absolutely stunning way in which he clinched victories from what people's mandate was in Manipur and Goa. In many senses, setting new grounds in the new India that he talked about. So while many other things may or may not happen, certainly mandates are being tuned into a new India, and we must take a look at the Prime Minister to come to find out how he looks at democracy. Now that apart, a major topic that he touched this morning was on Shahid Bhagat Singh and extolled some of the parts of Shahid Bhagat Singh. But there are some things about Bhagat Singh I think we all need to know. This is a country of young people. Bhagat Singh in his younger days inspired not only huge number of people in his time, but has continued to inspire younger people across India with his views, with his action, with his great martyrdom, and has had an inspiring life. And therefore, I think it's important we understand some of the more important details of Bhagat Singh. First and foremost, something that most people who talk about Bhagat Singh forget to tell you is that he was an atheist. Somebody who did not believe in God, did not believe in religion, while actually, from what I've heard and told, he actually started as a person who used to recite the Gayatri Mantra. So from a person who used to take on to religion and celebration of religion, he totally turned 180 degrees to become an atheist. And in this rather inspiring paper which he's written, which is very often known as Why I Am an Atheist, he writes of many things. One important line that struck me when I read this, especially in the context of today, and I would like to quote that from his own article, is: "The dirty alliance between religious preachers and possessors of power bought the boon of prisons, gallows, nouts, and above all, such theories for the mankind." In a way, whether he guessed what's going to happen today or not, I don't know, but he warned everybody against an alliance that could happen between religious preachers and people who are powerful. Because at that time, possessors of power could be somebody else. Today, probably it would be politicians and bureaucrats. So I think when each one of us looks at our political scenario, I think this is a sentence of Bhagat Singh that we must remember. There is another part. Bhagat Singh, of course, was a left-of-center person. Some may call him a communist, some may call him somebody with but very, very clear anti-capital views. But he always spoke about the laborer, the very poor, the dispossessed, and in many senses spoke out quite vociferously in his writings and in whatever is known about him, against capital, against accumulation, against anybody who's speaking of some people cornering all the benefits and riches of life. And I think that is something both the Prime Minister and our government must understand. You cannot, in a sense, make a government subservient to just the industrialists and people like Adani and Ambani, for want of a better word, and yet say that somebody who praised or thought highly of Bhagat Singh. Bhagat Singh had another very important part. I think because we call him a great patriot, and some may even call him a great nationalist. I think his description of nationalism is something very different from what the prevalent description of nationalism is by the ruling elite, especially the government of India and its various organizations. And in his description of nationalism, it was not narrowed down to either a religion, or a race, or a language, or Hindutva, or a very confined definition. I think it was pluralist, it was very, very openly secular, the word they like to abuse today. It was very anti-communal, and therefore it was, in many senses, the kind of nationalism that the founding fathers of our constitution and the founding fathers in the first few years of our independence spoke about. Incidentally, one of them being Nehru, and while the Prime Minister forgets Nehru every time, looks rather deliberately, Nehru was actually somebody Bhagat Singh was a great fan of. In a very interesting article he wrote, he compared Subhash Chandra Bose, another great revolutionary, to Nehruji, another great leader of the independent revolution, and said that ultimately if he has to choose between the two, between Subhash Babu and Nehru, he actually chooses Nehru. And when I come to a last part of his, I must say that in terms of openness, in terms of how youth should be, he made a very interesting statement, and I would like to read that. It says, "Merciless criticism and independent thinking," mind you, merciless criticism and independent thinking are the two necessary traits of revolutionary thinking. Then of course he also talks about fact that you have to speak about, you go against popular feelings, you should criticize the hero, you should not have hero worship anybody. But I suppose those are traits that I would not expect my Prime Minister and his ministers and his parties to really think about, because those are understanding of a very, very great man. Reason I spoke about this is I think these are parts of Bhagat Singh that we must speak about. It's a country of younger people. Younger people need to know what their heroes are all about and understand and imbibe the great thinking that Bhagat Singh did. The only part that saddens me today is that I think if we had Bhagat Singh today, if he spoke the way he spoke in his writings and in his various things in the years when he was alive, perhaps on the streets of Delhi or maybe in Delhi University he would have been probably hounded by the ABVP, the way kids in Ramjas were hounded. I think if we spoke about his understanding of what a revolution is, of critical thinking, of criticizing, probably would have been put in jail. And if really, we think about what he thought of nationalism, what he thought of economic imperialism, what he thought of capitalism, while the Britishers killed him, I think we are killing his thoughts and ideas every day. Thank you very much.
1